Why is it so hard for your special someone to have a relationship, a partnership? Why does he have a problem with it? Maybe his relationships never last long. The relationship with you, maybe it's always this back and forth. They're unstable. What's the reason? Let's take a look at that now, collectively. What's on your special someone's mind about this? Why? Anyone who cannot have a stable relationship or partnership. Dear ones, we are working collectively. The character cards are gender neutral. This is your counterpart, whether male or female. Not only that, all the character cards in this deck. As I said, please adapt this to you and your situation in general. Collective laying. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your loyalty, and thank you to everyone new who has joined us here. Also, thank you so much to those who have joined the channel membership, and a warm welcome to everyone, along with a heartfelt, loving hug to all of you. And now I am sending you lots of positive energy and many beautiful, happy moments. And I have once again taken the question from the collective. I also thought that was very nice. And you are always, always very welcome to participate in the collective at any time. You can write suggestions for collective readings. The questions, of course, and as I said, you are very welcome to do so. So now let's take a look at what's going on there. Why? Of course, this why mainly refers to you. I am always in the energy because it concerns you as the viewer. So let's take a look then. Well, first of all, we immediately have the Seven of Swords. With your loved one, it's really like this. Yes, he keeps trying to get himself out of an affair, so to speak. Affair here means relationship, not an affair with someone else. The affair, we're talking about the relationship here. Why can't he have a committed relationship, a partnership, this stable one? And it seems that he keeps trying to wriggle out of the whole thing, to slip away somehow, and he's also being dishonest about it. So here we have an issue of dishonesty. He might also be beating around the bush a bit, and he definitely keeps running away again and again. Running away from it all could also have to do with responsibility, but somehow it's always like this. Maybe he's under some kind of illusion. Or yes, it's also the case that he deceives others, pretends something. And we'll take another look, as you know, to see more precisely what's really going on. Yes, we're with you, as I mentioned earlier. We have, which I find wonderful right now, we already have the Ace of Cups. So for him, this escape that he keeps making, slipping out somehow, out of the affair. Yes, this deception, this dishonesty, and the dishonesty here really has to do with love. Because it's like this, somehow it has to do with love, to do with you. And somehow a love issue, a matter of love, something that touched his heart. And there must have been something, but as I said, we're going to get to the bottom of it here. But with him, I can already see that somehow the fulfillment, there's something here. Maybe he doesn't really seize the opportunity, that something is still lingering with him. Yes, and somehow he's not in harmony, not even with himself. But there's definitely this sense of, yes, maybe it's also about making amends with himself. Something is definitely stuck with him very strongly. As I said, we're looking at the question of why. So, and then when we look at you, as I said, we're focusing on your energy. This is about you. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And here too, what is occupying him now in your direction? What concerns the relationship, the connection with you? There is this sensuality about you, this sense of familiarity. There is something. You're so grounded, so big-hearted, so caring and reliable. This is about reliability and about loyally standing by his or her side. And that's the issue. There's something stuck with him in this area, but that's what you're radiating to him. He feels it. That much I can definitely tell you. So let's see if we can get even more specific. Well, now I'm really curious. So we definitely have this, I can say for sure already, a really, really huge and significant issue from the past with your special someone. A past issue. So there was a really major, substantial rupture or break there, something that truly affected things. The past here, for one, it could be the mother, it could be the father, it could, as I said, we're back to the topic of person cards. It could also be a family member, it could be a sister, a brother. So anything is possible there, family related. Let's use the term family related for now. It's definitely an issue and or also a relationship with another person that is causing problems or challenges. When it comes to relationships, because here he was always living a lie to himself, never truly being honest about his feelings or who he really was deep down inside. And these fears as well. With the person of the heart, we can see very clearly here, it's a matter from the past. So it's incredible. It couldn't be any clearer than how it's shown here. The issue from the past here, I'll say mother now, but as I said, please adapt it for yourselves, okay? There's a mother issue here that has always made him doubt himself. This doubting of himself, and then also ex-relationships. They didn't last long either. They were superficial. So this superficiality, it was more about material things. That's also how I see him, that he was raised in such a way that everything was always about money. So also in the past as well. Maybe he, yes, in his childhood, he grew up where really, as I said, there was always a focus on money, and that always took precedence. Or that it was simply always suggested or conveyed to him that money is the most important thing, right? Or, yes, relationships don't matter as long as the money is right, something along those lines. Because I always see this theme there. And I also see that what has continued is the relationship with another woman or man, you know? And there was always this complete lack of trust. He never really let himself go because I always see him in this constant state of alertness. A state of alertness, this feeling of something's coming, something is about to happen here. And how tense he is, it's really, yes, it's really eating away at him. This disappointment, it's deeply rooted in him. He still hasn't let go of what he experienced, what he went through back then. And that's the issue. And as I said, this fear of loss, this internal pressure, maybe as a child, he also, yes, just as an example now, maybe it was like this, that the mother or the family, the parents, it could be both parents, that there was always this pressure. Money has to come in, work has to be done. He was repeatedly pushed aside. He had to function, and he wasn't allowed to make any mistakes. I sense this strictness, this harshness, this coldness here as well. Not completely, but I keep seeing him with these feelings of guilt, this need to make things right again. He always has to make up for everything and constantly has to show and prove himself, hey, I'm here, you know, and look what I did, and did I do it right? And absolutely don't make any mistakes. But again and again, because he was pushed aside. And then I have ex-relationships here as well. It was exactly the same there. At first, maybe it was really great. It was fantastic, you know, the getting to know each other phase, everything fit perfectly. But then it became clear, yes, once again, it was all about material things because he thought, okay, maybe he has to show off material things or money. I mean, material things, finances and material possessions, you know. That's kind of like a definition for him over and over again because, as I said, he doesn't know any different. That's the old pattern he knows, this clinging tendency he has. And then always in the background, he feels he will be abandoned, he will be betrayed, he will be pushed aside. And here we also have someone who quite suddenly and spontaneously makes this cut himself, withdraws, ends the whole thing so that he won't be the one who gets left. And I can see very clearly here as well. I also see that he was betrayed. Maybe he keeps it a secret because he doesn't want to say it, because he's thinking, oh God, how would people see me out there if they knew? That's quite possible, you know, because I keep seeing a secret here. But what I see very clearly is that he or she was the one who was betrayed. Yes, it could also be because I see this sudden moment of shock here, this startled, shocking moment. Maybe he actually saw it or heard it himself. So yes, in any case, it was almost like experiencing it live. That could also be the case because I sense this really intense, extreme shock there. And he still hasn't processed it. And as I said, the recurring issue is that he was left, pushed aside, and there was always something, some secret kept coming up because I kept seeing the lies, the secrets, these misunderstandings, this he completely closed himself off as well and has never really, in a relationship, he has never fully opened up because I always see the relationship here in retreat always closed off. And then there was this stress factor. It's in every relationship he expects, as if he's always searching, always this searching, looking for a catch. Something is there, something is coming, something is coming, something is coming. I always like to say it's like he's standing on a watchtower, looking in all directions. Something is going to come from somewhere. I just know it, right? And he's just waiting for it. And because of that, the fear has always ruled him. And truly letting go, as I said, he never could. He never has. Above all, he has never really lived love. There was always this thing to completely open up, to let go. Always this topic. There's something's missing. As I said, he hasn't been able to do that yet, right? So, and then we have, he met you. Also the fear. And you, what we also see here, this sensuality, this warmth, this solution-oriented way, this you are there, this warmth. And warmth, the way you are there, also, please don't be alarmed, made him afraid, caused him fear. But that's because he doesn't know it. And there's fear to accept it, to really accept it on a conscious level, because there's always something coming up, something doesn't fit, right? It's like whenever he does something, there's always a but, or he gets these reproaches. That's how I've always, whenever he did something, or maybe let someone give him something, or someone was there for him, helped him out of a jam, or when he was sick, this care, and there was always a, I did this for you. The reproaches, always, always, always reproaches, always this bombardment, always another reproach, these feelings of guilt. And he kept trying. He has to do something again. He has to make up for it, because I have him here like a marathon runner lying here. Constantly this stress, this burden with this expectation that something is coming, right? But you are different. You give, but you expect nothing in return. You are happy to be there, whether he is sick or if some kind of solution is needed here or something like that. You are there. And you expect nothing. And if he says, okay, here as a way to make it up to you, then you say, no, I don't want anything for it. I did it gladly from the bottom of my heart. And this, if we put it in a picture, wow, that's when the jaw drops, like, oh, what? And it's as if you can't really believe that something like this exists. And as I said, you've touched his heart. But he's still like, he can't really accept it, always having these worries, thinking something else is going to happen. And that's his issue, because deep down he has this fear of loss. And because of this fear of being abandoned, and even when he loses people in his environment, he keeps searching. There's something it's like, yes, this tension, some kind of problem keeps coming up again and again. And as I said, this fear of loss, before he gets left, he leaves. That's how he prefers it. It hurts him, definitely, but at least he wasn't the one who got left. And that's the point. He wasn't the one who got left, because that way he keeps avoiding the hurt from the past. It really couldn't be any clearer than that. And these are always those connections. The secret, as I said, what I always see is that he might never really reveal this secret to you. Maybe just a little puzzle piece that was always there, a small fragment somehow that he, let something slip, but never the whole thing, because that remains completely hidden. That's the secret here. And because I also see a really big issue with jealousy in him. That's his perspective on himself, no matter what he shows you on the outside. This, if you think, why he's so totally self-confident or something? No, I don't see that here in this collective reading. I see him more as being very torn. I see him as very, very doubtful as well, doubting himself too. And above all, really feeling love. For him, it's like he does long to really be able to let go. But again and again, this blockage comes up, something happens, I get hurt again. And that's what it is. And that's where some people do try to sneak their way through. This lack of honesty, as I said, with himself, but also outwardly kind of like deceiving, So what does deceiving mean? It's like he shows you something different. If he shows coldness here or has some kind of knee-jerk reaction, then it really is a knee-jerk reaction. That's just a reaction in the heat of the moment for him because he doesn't know right then, oh God, where to? You know, what exactly am I supposed to do now? And then he'd rather just run away before he gets hurt again. It hurts him too. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt him at all, you know? But he wasn't the one who got left. And that's something he can keep telling himself over and over again. So let's take a look at what else we have here. Yes, so we have two major arcana cards, and one of them is the devil. And with the devil, it's also shown that there's always been this, it's like a kind of dependency that keeps coming up, you know? These are his or her own shadow issues. Always this feeling as if he just can't let go. And he always has doubts, so he prefers to keep his distance again and again. It's partly like a pathological mistrust that's being shown here as well. This, as I already said, it's sick. Now we see it here again, and it's simply this, like, from the past, from what he has experienced, these are his own shadow issues. And as I said, it's always this running away, and you're not in the material realm where you say, I don't want any money from you. I don't want to be given anything, right? Of course, you're happy about it, but you say you don't have any expectations, right? And that's your warmth, your kindness. And that's what he felt, what he sensed, and where, yes, something has already changed inside him. But still, there's this fear that's being shown here that he or she will get hurt again because you're so different from anyone he's ever known. And that's also an area for him where he says, inwardly, okay, then that's just how it is, right? Then no, then I'll just get hurt again anyway. I know it, right? Unfortunately, we keep seeing this here again and again. And then we also have the hermit. And with the hermit, it also shows that he already has this, there's this loneliness. Basically, he's very lonely in his search, and this, yes, sometimes aimless as well, because even when he runs away, he still doesn't really have a clear goal anymore. And there he keeps withdrawing into this retreat, into this isolation, so that he won't be disappointed. But from what I see here in terms of movement, he's already on the path toward self-realization. Self-realization, that's what you gave him here, how you touched him. And now he's already in a place where he's becoming a bit more thoughtful each time. But I'd really like to draw one more card here. Okay, so now it looks like now we have a bit more movement in the situation. As I said, self-realization, because I didn't want to leave the topic of self-realization just hanging here, since there's still something else going on. And with the Eight of Wands, we now have clarification. Clarification leading to change. This realignment, self-realization, realignment. And it also shows a positive development, that the whole situation is being looked at. Yes, we're still in a period of delay here. Every now and then, there's still a standstill. But your loved one is really going through a realignment here. This self-realization, wanting to start everything anew, to look at things, to embrace change, a realignment. A realignment in this area also means finally seeing what has happened here, what you have given him, to finally gain a clear perspective. There lies the realignment. And things are already looking quite positive again. So, as I said, something is already happening there. He is already moving in that direction, realizing that something has always gone wrong here. Things are not going well for him, as if he keeps getting held back by something outside. There's this heaviness. Somehow something would come up and then, bam, it was the same old mess all over again. Only you came along and, like, you gave him these rays of sunshine. And that's what makes him start to reorient himself, to change his perspective, to look at things differently. Out of that, an interchange. Dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching, and I wish you a wonderfully beautiful day. Goodbye.